If you've been wondering if quiz funnels are going to get you results, you are going to love this episode because I break down the psychology of why quiz funnels work so well. And not only will this help you get better results with your quiz funnels, but I'm going to flip the lens on how you look at marketing forever. So let's go ahead and let's get to it. Hey everyone, my name is Trisha, Internet Marketing and Course Creation Specialist. Welcome to my show where I make marketing easy to understand and fun for all you hardworking entrepreneurs. So if you want to learn marketing strategies to help you grow your business, make sure that you click that red subscribe button and also make sure you leave me a comment and let me know other types of training that you would like to see. So alright, let's get into the psychology of quizzes. So we're going to start off with a little game that first of all, I hope it's fun, and second of all, will really help you understand the psychology of quizzes and marketing strategy on an entirely new level. So are you ready for it? Okay, so what we have in front of us is a very typical sales model. So in this scenario, I'm trying to get people to purchase my online course, but I want you to think of how it would apply to what you're trying to sell and hoping people will buy. So that could be your online course, or it could be any types of products you sell, any types of services you sell, any type of training you sell, whatever it is. It's just whatever you want people to put money down into. So let's just go through this super quick. On the left are all the different ways you can get traffic in. And I shouldn't say all the ways. These are just some of the top tools people use to get traffic into the middle thing, which is usually a landing page or a sales page that basically describes it for people. So that way the right people will see themselves in it and hopefully understand that it's the thing they've been looking for, and then they can go ahead and make that purchase. So I just want you to consider for yourself, is this a good marketing model or a bad marketing model? And there's no right or wrong answer because it varies per industry, but I just want you to really go deep and really think about it and think about what's good about this model and think about what this model is lacking, because I just want you to understand that for yourself. Okay, so you got that? Awesome. And if you don't, just pause this video for a second and then come back. So I want to point out the biggest problem with this model. So I don't have a percentage in front of me because I think it varies, but I heard once the percentage is 2%. At any point in time, only 2% of people are actually ready to make a purchasing decision. And that percentage could vary, but it doesn't vary by very much. So what happens is you spend all this money on ads, which is fine. You get the attention, hopefully, of the people that are ready to make that purchasing decision. And nowadays, ads are a lot smarter and we could fiddle around with it to reach those people more specifically. And then we take them to our sales thing. If you're using this model as is, okay, that means that you are missing out on the 95 to 98% of people that aren't yet ready to make that purchasing decision. So one thing that could shift this model is if you use something called retargeting or remarketing, and that's where your ad will follow people around the internet and people think it's kind of creepy, but the creepiness works and people will see that thing they thought they might want to buy, and then they are like, oh, I wasn't quite ready, but now I am. It's following me around the internet. It must be a sign. I must buy this thing, and people will go ahead and make the purchase. Now, that will get you a much higher percentage of people. So maybe you'll go from 2 to 5% who are ready to buy on the spot, and then your retargeting might get an additional 5, 10, maybe even up to 20% of people, which is all fabulous. But you're spending a lot of money and you're still missing out on those 80% plus of people. And do you think that those people could maybe one day be ready to buy? Or maybe it's just maybe it's just something else that's stopping them. So let's look at those things that are stopping them. And then this is how I'm going to flip the lens on how you look at marketing. And then we'll dive in deeper into some actual marketing principles so you could really see and get how this works. So reason number one is very likely that you're just not ready yet. So just think about it. Like when you see something even though you think it's cool, are you always ready to take out your credit card and make that purchase, right? No, because you might not need it right away, or you might need it down the road. Like, let's say you're looking at a perfect coffee maker and it looks fabulous and it's a great price, but your coffee maker works fine, but 3 months down the road, your coffee maker breaks. Now you need that thing you saw, right? And you're like, oh, where did I see that? Or maybe you're looking to get some kind of training, but you're already taking 5 training programs. You just simply can't fit another one in. So you're not ready now, but you might be ready for it down the road. So we have to just consider those people that are just not ready yet. Okay, that's one thing. Second reason people aren't buying right away could be because they don't know you. If they don't know you, they don't trust you. We all have to be careful of those scams out there. There are a lot of scams. There's a lot of people trying to get money, and they will take your money very happily and they will give you very little value back, or no value back, or bad value back. They'll just give you bad advice. So we have to be really careful. So before we lay down money, especially if it's going to be some type of service or training program or course, we have to make sure that we trust the person who is offering it, right? Or know a little bit about them. So that's the second thing I want you guys to really think about. And the third big thing is people might not have belief in themselves, and we have to look and address that as well. So, for example, I'm offering an online course on how somebody can build their own online course. And as wonderful as my price might be on a promo price I'm putting out on an ad, and as wonderful as my sales page could be saying all the wonderful things I offer, people might just not believe that they have the capability of doing it. So just think about like the first time you've ever done anything. If you haven't done something before, sometimes that's scary, and sometimes you just don't think you can do it until you actually try and you do it, and then you're like, oh, I don't know, I was so scared. It's like when I became an entrepreneur, it was like a whole other world. I was terrified. It took me years to jump into the entrepreneurial world. But when I did it, I was like, oh, what was I so scared about? I get it now. But some people, we have to help them overcome that fear before they're ready to take our thing. So I want you guys to lock those 3 things away because they're really important to understand. So this business model, like I said, will address, 2% to, if you use retargeting, maybe 20-25% of people who will make the purchase. Okay. This other thing I talked about of all those reasons they're not ready to buy, if you could address those, you're reaching the 80+% of people. So the majority people that are being missed out through this model you see in front of you. So would you now like to know how to look at this from a marketing perspective so you could reach the majority of those people? Because just think about it. If you're using this model, like with your ads, and you're combining it with the model that addresses the majority of people, and you're mushing them together, don't you think that you are going to have an exceptionally powerful business model, or I should say marketing business model, right? So you guys excited about that? Okay, so let's have a look at another type of model, and the model that I'm using for my online courses. Okay, so what you're looking at here is a marketing model. So the first thing you looked at was more of a sales type model. This is the marketing model. This is the model that is purposely created to go after the 80% plus of people that aren't going to buy on the spot. Okay, and this basically is designed to turn a cold audience into a warm audience, into a hot audience. It's also designed to address those 3 things we just talked about the reasons people are not buying right away. So let's have a look at how it works. So first of all, you'll notice on the left-hand side, my marketing tactic methods have changed. So instead of going after ads, I'm going after a whole bunch of free stuff. So if I can build this funnel without paying money on ads, that's just score, because it means that all the money I end up making through my sales comes directly to me and into my bank account, just like that, which is pretty awesome, right? So already, are you guys loving this model more than the straight off sales model? So on the left, what I'm going to use is things like I'm going to do some guest blogging. I'm going to use my social media. I'm going to concentrate very heavily on LinkedIn. And I also want to concentrate on things like YouTube. So if you guys notice, this YouTube video Why am I doing this? Well, if you look at the first thing I put in my description below all my words, it's a link to my quiz. So if you guys, I hope you are excited about how this funnel model looks, and I hope you guys will go through the quiz so you can actually see it in action as well. So that'll be kind of like your perk, right? And then you could go ahead and model it for yourself. So basically what you want to do is get all the traffic you can from free methods. And then if the free methods don't work as well, of course, you could add on some very, very simple ads. And doing ads to free things is much easier than doing ads to something where people need to put money down. Okay, so you take your ad, you take them to the quiz. From the quiz, they get 1 of 3 results, right? Then all of those results are leading to my free course. And then from my free course, I'm leading them to my paid thing. And I'm going to tell you why, the psychology behind why I designed it this way. And then I'm going to give you guys some bonus tips. So let's look at those problems again on why people don't buy immediately. Problem number 1 on why they don't buy immediately is because they're not ready. So by designing a quiz funnel, what I'm doing is I'm taking people that are kind of interested in the topic, because otherwise I wouldn't even take the quiz. So they're kind of interested anyway, right? But they might not be ready to buy anything. But they go through the quiz, then they get the results. So they get a little bit more excited that, this is something that they want to do. Then they take the free course where they're getting some free tips. And then I'm hoping that after they do that, they believe that they're prepared and ready to go ahead and learn more. And they would learn more, of course, through my purchase, through the purchase they need to make to get the rest of my stuff through my full course. That definitely addresses that problem. Okay. The second reason that people aren't ready to buy immediately that we looked at is because they don't know me. But look at what a quiz funnel does. Through taking the quiz and giving them results where people can understand more about themselves, they're going to be grateful to me. It's almost like an instructor grading a paper, right? They're just like, hey, this is what you did well and this is what you're ready for. So it helps me become more of an authority, and it also helps build that feeling that they're grateful to me for offering that to them. Then I take them through my free course. Now, who is on the free course? Well, that would be me. And they're learning through me. I'm giving them some really super valuable, like some of my most valuable tips for free. And they're going through it and they're seeing me, they're hearing me, they're learning that I know my stuff, they're understanding it. And then they're like, okay, so again, when you're doing an online course, like online courses is one of the most powerful ways to build your authority. So this, I thought, would be fabulous to just give them some free training. Because I'm selling an online course, I may as well give them, free training on an online course as an online course. And the third reason we looked at it to why people don't make a purchase decision right away is because they don't have belief in themselves. So when I designed that free course, I specifically designed it to be so easy to move through and adding little rewards along the way of things they can learn how to do and apply in order to get good results. And through doing that and through them actually taking those action steps, I'm getting them closer and closer to the know-how that they actually do have the capability of taking the steps necessary to build an online course. And I do that through baby steps. Like, I like to do things through baby steps where people are like, hey, I took these steps, I got some results, I'm ready for the next few steps. And that's how I split the whole online course training. That's why I called my first thing they purchased is 1A, because I've actually got 7 steps I need to move through. So I like to just take people in just very easy. And I kind of keep them in my funnel, for a really long time, because I want them to get big results, but I'm reaching those people who really need that guidance and hand-holding along the way. And that's kind of how I set up this model. So again, I'm reaching those 80+% of people that wouldn't have bought off my ad right away, and I'm also taking them through a process that's addressing those 3 big things I identified as to why they weren't ready to make that immediate purchase. So I hope you guys understand how this model as a marketing model can really help you in your business. And again, I'm gonna stress the first thing we looked at was a sales model, because that's how salespeople think, and that's that's fine, because again, it does work. But as a marketer and as a marketing model, we're looking at those 80+% of people. How can we get people through our funnel? How can we keep them in our funnel? And how can we turn that cold audience into a nice warm audience, into a nice hot audience that's ready to purchase our stuff, right? Now, if you notice, I also have a little symbol for email, and that's because, of course, when they do the quiz, I also pull them into my email funnel. When they're in my email, what am I going to do? I'm going to give them more tips, more information, more helpful stuff for free. That's going to help address that belief so they could believe they could do these marketing steps. Also to help me build my authority with them. Also to help build that trust factor so they could trust me as that person who knows what I'm doing, who's only giving them the stuff that's going to get them the best results. So I hope you can take away how powerful this marketing model is in a nutshell, and it doesn't have to be the same for you. You can use other lead magnets and you can use other freebie type stuff and you can lead them along the way. But I wanted to show you the reasons I specifically did it to get people into my course. But based on what you're selling, you're going to have to think about the best way to address what people need in order to help them get that belief in themselves and also get them to get ready for that thing you're selling. So it takes a lot longer to plan out a marketing strategy like this. But when you plan out a marketing strategy as opposed to just thinking, I'm just going to put up an ad and get people, when you think of it like this, like I said, you're getting those 80+% of people, you're reaching them on a much bigger level. So maybe out of the 80% plus people, putting out a free quiz funnel like this, like maybe, you're reaching 20% of them or 25% of them. You're just getting closer to reaching everybody who could potentially eventually buy from you. So we're just getting those numbers up of the right people. And honestly, like doing a quiz funnel, only people that are interested in my topic are going to take it. So you're weeding out people right even from just doing that. And also with a quiz funnel, it could go viral very quickly, and then I'm getting people to share my thing out in the world for me without me having to spend any money on ads. Super score, super bonus. I hope you guys get very excited about that, because if you're reaching 80%, more of those 80% plus people, and you haven't spent money on ads, all that money you make from your purchases goes right into your bank account. And that is your super ultimate score, right? And this is why people are so excited about funnels, because this is also called a funnel model, and people are killing it with funnels because it addresses all of these things. So now that you understand all of that on a deeper and a higher level, and understand hopefully how a marketing and a funnel model is a very good model for you, let me now add in the piece about the psychology behind quizzes, because I want you to also understand that bit. The more deeper you understand this type of model in front of you and the type of model behind the psychology, the more powerful your marketing strategy is going to be, because it's going to make sense to you on a whole other level, and you're going to be thinking of your audience on an entire different level and what they need in order to get to that buying decision. So now that you're excited about that, let's dive into the psychology of quizzes. One of my favorite books of all time is Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini, and I'm probably mispronouncing the last name, but if you Google Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion, and you see an author by the name of Robert, that would be the right book. So the book has the author going deep into 7 different, we'll call them human behaviors, that cause people to say yes. And you can imagine that if you understand what it takes psychologically to get people to take a yes, how that could be used to help you sell basically anything you want to sell. So let's have a look at how this could be applied to quizzes. So I just thought it was fascinating how quizzes can so easily go viral. And then I kind of matched it up to the things I had read in the book. And I thought, wow, this is pretty cool, because quizzes actually hits on 5 of the principles that it takes to get people to the yes. So let me just go over what those are. So the first principle of influence that the book examines is something called reciprocity. And basically, in a nutshell, what reciprocity is that we feel obligated to give back to somebody who has given us something. So let's think of it in simple terms like during the holidays, right? So did you ever go somewhere during the holidays or go to visit some family members that you haven't seen in a while and they have a gift waiting for you and you have nothing for them? Feels pretty icky, right? Okay, so that is called our strong desire to always reciprocate what we feel we receive. And we look at it in terms of the quiz. When we provide somebody with a quiz and we give them insight into themselves and give them insight that will help them make decisions and important decisions about their business or their life, on some level, they're going to be thankful for us and feel like we've given them a gift. And on some level, they're going to have an inkling to want to give back. Another one of the principles is the principle of social proof. And if you notice in marketing, that's used quite often. So if you read a blog post, for example, and at the end of the blog post, you see all those social sharing buttons because they work. And if people see that other people have liked something or commented or something, I mean, if you saw a post and there are like 10,000 likes, wouldn't you be a little inclined to pay attention to what the post says? Of course you would, right? Because with that many people, I mean, we're all followers of by nature, and if a whole bunch of people are staring up at the sky at something, we're going to want to see what they're staring up at the sky at. So social proof is basically just showing what the numbers are on social media. So a lot of these quiz platforms will actually allow you to have social proof on your quiz so people could see how many times the quiz was taken and how many times the quiz was shared. And if the quiz was shared a large number of times, people are going to feel more inclined to want to share it themselves. But when you look at something with social proof, or you see a quiz that's been shared a lot or taken a lot, you're going to be more inclined to want to take it because the proof is there that if others have done it, it must be good, right? We do it all the time on social media. Look at all those viral pictures and videos. You're like, wow, if a lot of people enjoyed this, chances are I'm going to enjoy it too. So that's how social proof is so powerful. Consistency basically means that people want to be consistent with anything they've done in the past. So if they said they had a firm belief about something, they're not all of a sudden going to whimsically want to change it. They want to remain consistent. So on another level, the way we can use this is if people agree to do something small, they're more likely to agree to take a bigger step. So for example, you probably see this a lot in marketing where people will give something away for free. So if somebody takes the action of ordering, let's say, a free book, for example, right? And they are ordering their free book and they're saying, by doing so, I'm committed to learning about this. So what you'll notice is that a lot of, I would say, coaches and marketers and whatever, now what they're doing is as soon as they send you something for free and the person writes in their name and address and all that wonderful stuff, saying that they're committed to getting that free information because they're committed to learning about that subject or whatever it is, you'll notice that right away there's either an upsell or a downsell. So by doing that, the person's already said yes to something. It's going to be much easier to get them to say the next yes. They want to remain consistent with the behavior they've already shown. So they're going to go ahead and very likely take that upsell or downsell because they want to remain consistent with that first decision. And then some people go further and will offer another upsell or downsell and so on, and they just kind of continue on there because it works like wildfire. It's insane. It just People they say that little yes once, even if it's free, and they'll just continue to say yes. So that's the principle of consistency. So using it in a quiz funnel works very, very powerfully because they're making that small commitment to doing the quiz. And by doing so, they are pretty much saying to themselves and to you that they're interested in learning about the topic and doing better in that area. And then what you're going to do is then give them something else to say yes to, and they're going to be much more inclined to say yes to that next thing as if they would if you had started with that next thing. And remember, we talked about if somebody doesn't know you and doesn't like you and doesn't trust you, they're not going to buy from you. So the principle of liking basically states if you can get someone to like you, they are going to be more likely to take action because people like to say yes to people they like. So again, if you could get people to take your training, to watch your videos, to see, I'm using the psychology of liking right now. But if you can get them to pay attention with you and relate to you that way, they're going to obviously follow you because they like you and they like the information you're giving them. And so they're much more likely to say yes to any of the requests you put in front of them. You probably hear authority a lot in marketing, and everyone always stresses how you should be the authority in your industry. And it's true, because what happens is people feel a need to follow those who are authority figures. And so if you could show people that you're credible and knowledgeable, which you can easily do when you provide them information and when you train them, and if you have a book, if you have an information sheet, if you have a video, these are all things that are signaling that you are the authority person in your niche. And that will definitely help people listen to you and follow what you recommend. And of course, you're going to recommend the stuff you want to sell. And there you have it. So that is 5 of the 7 principles. If you want to learn the other 2 principles, please go ahead and have a look at that book. It goes in really deep. It's pretty intense in some cases, but it definitely helps. But this very quick summary I gave you, you're at the very least going to understand how the principles of persuasion really apply to things as simple as a quiz funnel. Whoa, I know, right? It's a lot of information, but I hope it helped you. Even if you take just one thing away, I know it's going to help you be a better marketer and get better marketing results. Now, we learned a lot about psychology of sales and marketing, and remember, with great power comes great responsibility. So go ahead and use your power to create something wonderful.